Welcome to the Old Town in Warsaw, and despite the weather forecast promising all sorts of delights today, it feels very chilly and it's likely to rain any moment, so I need to go somewhere warm and get something to eat. Against all the rules, I've decided that my Burger Face-Off Britain 2025 will, as a result, actually have a guest location outside of the UK, here in Warsaw. Perhaps that's not in spirit the rules I set myself, but McDonald's is the one chain where you always want to see how consistent it is around the world. And I know that there are some unique items on the menu here in Poland as well. We've all got memories of McDonald's. Where was our first McDonald's? What does it mean culturally? It's played a role in my life. I was fortunate enough to work in Russia in the early 1990s, and McDonald's was truly a pioneer in Eastern Europe. Its first burger restaurants were in Budapest and Belgrade, but eventually there was an agreement to build a McDonald's in Moscow. And when I worked for British Airways there, we used to go and get Big Macs for the entire office and all of the staff. I think we had around about 40 people at the time. And sometimes my boss and I, not the staff, we would go and queue at McDonald's. And in those days in Moscow, to get a Big Mac, you had to queue up for about 3 hours. But it felt really worth it. You were part of something. And I suppose in a way, it was also a tribute to one of the forebearers of capitalism in Eastern Europe as well. Other things that I can remember is how McDonald's sometimes surprises you with its designs for its stores. For example, in Salzburg and in Porto, two McDonald's that I remember not looking anything like I would expect in, say, a shopping centre, but where beautiful local architectural jewels have been picked by their properties team, and they've actually really cared to make sure that it fits into the localities. Well, things change all the time, don't they? McDonald's isn't in Russia anymore for fairly obvious reasons, and its replacement copies it almost identically. It's called Wkusna I Toczka, which means tasty, and that's it. And it really is a clone of McDonald's, except it isn't McDonald's. And despite that change, I think one critical aspect of McDonald's is how consistent it is around the world. The flavour of the Big Mac is supposed to be pretty much the same everywhere. So with no further ado, let's get inside the restaurant and see what we can learn from McDonald's in Poland and how it stacks up against its British equivalent. Let's go. I've already had quite a few surprises compared to the experience in the UK. The first one is just how clean this restaurant is. Really, there's not a speck of dirt anywhere, and they come around fairly regularly and wipe down surfaces. It's only about 11:15 in the morning, but this branch is already busy. It's not surprising because its setting is quite amazing. We are right in the middle of the Old Town, in front of the old castle, and also just at the beginning of Nowy Świat Street. So this is a very well frequented McDonald's. That's the first surprise. The second one, which is really nice to see, because I think this used to exist in the UK, but it's being removed progressively as far as I can see, is that there are charging points for telephones all over the place, and also electric charging points. So I'm using that opportunity to charge my iPhone. What I've noticed in the UK is that most of those power points have been progressively switched off so that you can't get that added value. So already this McDonald's is winning hands down, and that's before we've even looked at the food. And I think justifies why the Great British Burger Face-Off, as I called this 2025, has kind of gone on a short holiday in Poland. What I want to see is what's different here, and at the same time what's consistent, particularly in terms of the preparation and the taste of the burgers. And it's certainly true that in Poland there's an enormous amount of choice on the menu. So let's take a look at what's on offer first of all, and then go and make an order. I'm actually upstairs, but this is also something McDonald's are doing increasingly often. There are those automated order screens both downstairs and upstairs, so I can calmly do that here without going downstairs again. It's evident looking at the menu that there's actually much broader choice at McDonald's in Poland than we're used to in the UK. I saw that when I arrived earlier for breakfast. All sorts of wraps with scrambled eggs in them, not just the kind of McMuffin style egg, as well as the McMuffins, and also quite a range of baked goods. But it's on the lunchtime and evening menu that we really see a huge range of choice. Of course, you get all of the classics like Big Mac, hamburger, cheeseburger, and chicken McNuggets, although I don't actually see the filet of fish burger, so perhaps they don't have that here, but they more than make up with it. First of all, they have something called the V-Smack. I'm sure that's pronounced completely incorrectly, but it means something along the lines of village mac or country mac, and that is something absolutely unique to the Polish McDonald's menu, and we'll come back to it in a moment. What you also notice is with the fries, where there's a really significant choice. You can have normal fries, but they've also got those kind of crinkly cut fries as well, which comes with sauces. But they've also got something which is apparently new in Poland. I wonder if it's going to come to us in the UK as well, and that is called McShaker fries. And basically that looks to me like a large, very large portion of fries, which comes with different condiments. You can either have a kind of paprika condiment, or one providing a taste of sour cream and onion, or even ramen flavour. So I think when it gets to the fries, I have to try one of those and see if they're a bit more interesting than the average McDonald's fry. There's simply a huge list of different types of coffees, and they look beautifully photographed, at the very least, somewhat more appealing than I've seen in other places. Made my order at the automatic machine now, and it was relatively straightforward. A wide choice of languages. You could make the order in English, German, Polish, obviously, Ukrainian or Russian, which I think gives an indication of the times as well. But there were a couple of things that I noticed. The first one was that if you wanted the special fries, which I've ordered, the shaker fries, you couldn't make them part of the menu. So I've had to order everything individually. That means I've ordered a Big Mac, I've ordered the V-Smack, and I've ordered my fries. And then I've also ordered a strawberry shake, so that should be good. As individual items on the menu, both the Big Mac and the V-Smack were priced at 23 zloty 50. In other words, not as part of the menu. And that translates into British money, pounds sterling, as £4.78 each. Everything I ordered came to £14.98, 73 zloty 70. So I think that's comparable to UK prices. Probably been a bit cheaper if I'd been able to construct a menu. And of course, just like at home, I've got delivery to my table. Right, the food has arrived. It's now 11:26 and the order went through at 11:19, so that's restoring my faith actually in fast food, considering it has to be prepared and then brought upstairs. That is, what, 6-7 minutes? That's perfect. I think they've got the order just about right. It looks slightly different to what I expected. Is that a dill sauce? It says salad dressing. Oh no, it is yogurt, dill and low fat. This is then the sweet and sour sauce. I've got my Big Mac, my V-Smack. This should be a strawberry shake. It is. And then the fries. Now that's interesting, considering you can't do this as part of the menu. It is a normal portion of McDonald's fries. But look, they give you this bag in which you can shake your fries, which you don't have to shake all of them either. And then here we go. This is the topping, the paprika topping to go with it. So we'll try that in just a moment. Right, so I'm going to start with the V-Smack, as it's something new for me. It looks very much like a quarter pounder to me, so I'm sure it's the sauce that's going to make the difference. Let's have a look. Well, first of all, the burger is nice and moist. It's got that typical McDonald's processed cheese, but the beef patty is very moist, something I generally find with a quarter pounder patty compared to the Big Mac patty. Lots of nice salad. You can see the tomatoes, I haven't actually eaten it yet. The bread, very slight sweetness, I say, terribly slight, so going more into that McDonald's brioche direction as well. But then, the kicker is the horseradish sauce. There's not loads of it, but there's enough to elevate the burger and to give it a punchier taste and make it more interesting. Well, of course, you're only going to like that if you like horseradish, which, outside of Poland, and possibly Germany, is a reasonably acquired taste. But to be honest, it's pretty inoffensive here. Anyhow, it's a distinctive burger and definitely different. Let's move on to the shaker fries, which are normal McDonald's fries. Seem quite warm, well salted. I'll put most of them in there, but just leave a few to try the other sauces. And here's my paprika. Just rip that open. Put the paprika inside. Oh, there's a lot of it, which is good. And then you know what this reminds me of? Well, if you're a certain age, your Smith's salted crisp. So it has a little blue packet and you put it inside. It's quite nice because you can actually feel in here, if you can hear me above the sound, the heat of the fries. Yeah, it looks like I've mixed them reasonably well. And now let's try. There we go. It's a decent, robust paprika. Rather like what you get in paprika crisps. And one thing's for sure, it makes a standard McDonald's fry a good deal more interesting. Now, finally, let's move on to that most famous burger of all, probably in the world, of any burger, the Big Mac. What's it like? Is it the same as in the UK? I'm about to find out. You're about to find out. Let's take a bite together. It tastes like a Big Mac. I'm not even going to attempt to explain what that is, because everybody knows it, and everybody can give their own description. And although it's a wonder of marketing genius and burger royalty, I don't think it's that extraordinarily delicious. As for this one, how does it compare to a UK one? Well, it's moister. And the main reason it's moister is there seems to be an awful lot more of the famous and secret Big Mac sauce, both under the bottom patty on top of the bun, but also in the middle as well. And that makes a big difference. Salad was fresh in both burgers, and I often find that's a weakness in McDonald's compared to other burger chains, particularly Burger King. And now I've pulled out the dill sauce the only way I know into the Big Mac packaging to try it with the fries. I'm not sure what it's meant for, so isn't it a fish mac, or doesn't appear to be. Let's double check that. I got it. This, of course, is a choice of salad dressing. You can either have the vinaigrette or this dill dressing. It's quite sweet, creamy, and it's definitely got a real distinctive dill flavour. Naturally, I've got to tell you, I like that dressing. I wish we had it in the UK, or do we? You tell me. And then, of course, the final thing to taste is the milkshake. This is another classic, isn't it, from McDonald's? And I have to say, I love their UK milkshakes. How about in Poland? We're about to find out. Creamy, slight flavour of strawberry, not as distinctive or as loud as it is in the UK. Definitely creamy. And there's one big difference to the UK. Okay, I have left this a couple of minutes, but the actual mix is far less thick. It's far more like a normal milkshake, but the flavour is fairly consistent. Yep, what's not to like about a McDonald's shake? I've finished my meal. No space for the pistachio ice cream, unfortunately, so can't see if it's a winner or not. But I can tell you about the meal and score according to the Great Burger Face-Off Travel in the Know Rules 2025. So first of all, how about burger taste? Well, if it had only been a Big Mac, I would say it was consistent to the UK and fairly bland. I'd give it a 4 out of 10. But because of the Mac, the Country Mac, and that horseradish kick, I'm going to step that up to 4.5. So it's still on the low side, but better because of the regional variation. The fries, again, typical McDonald's fries, you know what you're going to get. Normally, I would give them a 3, but I'm going to boost that up to a 4 because of the paprika and the fun of shaking the bag with all the fries in it. Cleanliness. Now, this is a real winner. First of all, big shout out to all of the customer service staff at this McDonald's. They are fantastic. They're up and down delivering food, and they seem to do it quite quickly as well. But not only are they doing that, they're checking the cleanliness all the time. Now, you can see probably on the terrace, even though it is chilly, plenty of people outside, and on both floors of McDonald's, it's packed. But The clearing areas are totally clean, every table's cleaned down, and you got no worry about perhaps picking up a nasty bug from one of the surfaces. Why, oh why, is this so difficult in the UK? Any burger chain, not just McDonald's, I don't know. But as a result, they're going to get 9 out of 10. I'm being very finicky, but 9 out of 10. Service, well, that includes speed of service. It was very good, I thought. Omnipresent staff, as I've already said, so they're going to get 8 out of 10 for that. And value for money, well, I thought the whole thing was a little pricey, but I have checked the Big Mac meal price, and that comes out at around about £6. So it rather depends on how you order as well. So as for value for money, I'm going to give it a 7. You know exactly what you're going to get with McDonald's, don't you? Well, I hope you've enjoyed this round of the Great Burger Face-Off going on location outside the UK, even if it's not supposed to. Mind you, I'm not breaking all the rules, certainly not going faster than 30 kilometres an hour. It's a great setting, and I think that we've learned that there is consistency in McDonald's, but perhaps something for the British burger industry to learn from as well. If you've enjoyed this vlog, please like it, subscribe, and don't forget to ding the bell for notifications. It just remains for me to say goodbye from Warsaw, the capital of Poland. See you again soon.